How many times as a salon owner have you asked yourself the question, what do I need to be focused on right now? And there's a million answers, but there's really only one thing you need to focus on. And on today's Salon Owner Evolution Revolution show, we're going to talk about that one thing. Stick around. Salon owners are some of the most amazing people on planet Earth. The only problem is sometimes their hearts are so big and they give so much of themselves to their staff and guests that it creates unintended consequences. Our goal is to change the industry by elevating the way the rest of the world sees salons, spas, and barbershops and give it the credibility that it truly deserves. This is the Salon Owner Revo Show. Today's podcast is brought to you by Salon Scale, allowing you to charge by what you know, not by what you feel. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's show. I'm Jason Everett, your host, and on with you and me today, whether you're listening with us on the podcast later or you're hanging out with us live. By the way, if you're on with us live, comment with the word live. I'd love to know if you're hanging out with us today. Is on the show today, we have the founder of the Salon Owner Collective out of Australia and New Zealand. Her name is Larissa. We've been hanging out. We've had the opportunity of knowing each other for probably, I don't know, I guess it's been a year, almost 2 years now. I'd love to introduce you to her because we just have talked a lot and realized there's some drastic differences between what they do down there. I think I can say down under. I'm pretty sure I can say that. And what we do up here in North America. And so I'm really glad to have her on. We've had some great discussions. Please welcome to the show, Larissa from Salon Owner Collective. What's up, Larissa?
Jason, thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, super good. Am I allowed to say down under or do I get in trouble because that doesn't reference all New Zealand? I just want to make sure I'm referencing appropriate landmarks.
Let's face it, we're at the bottom of the earth. Yeah, it's okay.
No,
I'm okay
see,
with it.
okay, see, now I know. I was geography shaming you. See, these are the things I didn't know the answer. You were like, down under what? Down under America? That's not how I meant it. Flip America upside down. You guys are up and over. We'll put it that way. You're in the up and over. Super glad to have you on, Larissa. Thanks for being on the show today. I really appreciate you being here. And, you and I have chatted a bunch. Like, there are some big differences between, salon owner life in Australia, New Zealand versus North America. But there's a lot of things that are the same. Right? Like, I know commission structures can change. I know, how you hire people can change. There's a few things that can change. But what doesn't change is the focus of the salon owner, right? And that's what I want to talk to you about today is what is some of the focus. So what do you find most people ask you about, Larissa, as a part of what you do? What do you find most people come to you and start asking about? Because there is a million things you could be focused on as a salon owner, right?
I think that's the thing in itself. I often talk to business owners. I've got so much to do. I don't know where to start. Everything's falling apart. I don't have enough time in the day. I'm behind the chair. I'm trying to be a mum. Forget about being a wife. And I'm in overwhelm. And I think overwhelm probably is the biggest roadblock to growth. We've got too many cans open. We're going super wide and we're not going very deep. We're not completing anything. And I really think it's, as creative entrepreneurs that we are when we decide to be a business owner, it's a blessing to have this ability to multitask, but it's also our curse. It's our worst nightmare because we open a bunch of stuff. We're really good at shiny object syndrome. Oh, that's fun. Let's start that. I've got a great idea. I'd like to serve my clients better. I want to implement something new. And before we know it, we're juggling 100 things, completing nothing actually isn't moving forward. We're busy as anything and we're not getting the growth. So I think we're kind of our own worst enemy.
Truth. And by the way, if that's you, do me a favor and type in "that's me" in the chat. And I mean, look, I've been a creative entrepreneur for years and years, and I know that that's the curse of pretty much anybody who is in any sort of creative industry, but especially in the salon world. People are so used to creating with their hands and creating these amazing things with their minds. But the problem is when you just are really good at creating, you create problems, you create issues when they're not there, you create more work to do than you need to do. And so you're good at creating business, but you're also really good at creating the other things that will really get in your own way. Now, Larissa, you run an amazing podcast yourself, the Salon Owner Collective. And you guys, how long have you guys been doing that podcast, by the way? I know you guys longer than me. How long have you been doing yours?
About 4 years now.
Yeah, so it's amazing. If you get a
Yeah.
chance, and again, if you're listening to our podcast, I hope you will go over and subscribe to Larissa's as well. What kind of content do you guys talk about on a weekly basis on there? Just so I know. I mean, hopefully it's stuff like this, but what are some of the things that you guys talk about typically?
My goal in life is to help the business owner really step into their role as the CEO, as the business owner. And
Truth.
that's probably the primary topic is like, how can we get out of our own way? What should we be spending our time on? What are some strategies and tips and to help us narrow the focus? So the podcast is definitely revolved around that. I always have a couple of great guests who can come and share the tips and tricks of what to do and what not to do. So yeah, come and hang out.
Yeah, please check out more. And Larissa, you and I are kind of cut from the same cloth of like, look, go get more education on how to run your salon. I don't think there can be too many people helping with education. And I know you do an amazing job of supporting people. So that's why I love having you on. And I know you're the real deal. We've spent a lot of time together. And I guess in my mind, what are some of the things when you sit down with people, how do you get them in a spot where they're not confused by 1,000 options? What do you do to help narrow their focus, get them crystal clear about what they need to do? What are some of the tactics or the little secrets you could tell us that people can maybe borrow from?
Okay, so I believe there are 9 key drivers in your business, the things that are going to drive your business forward. And we do a little exercise where we go through each of those 9 things and we rate the state of that department in your business. We use a super simple traffic light, like if it's green, I'm happy. If it's orange, probably I'd like it to be better. If it's red, it's an SOS, it's a state of confusion. Help me now, I want to cry. And it's a little bit of a process of elimination. Let's start with the things that are on fire, out of control right now, and let's stamp those down first. And for a set period of time, let's focus on one thing that's really going to move the needle and give ourselves permission to park the other stuff. That, like if no one's going to die and the business isn't going to, and we just work on the thing that actually, we rate that by 2 things. One, is someone going to die? Is the business going to collapse if we don't fix it? And
I like it. Good criteria.
If we fix this, is it going good criteria. If we fix it, is it going to move the needle? What needle is it going to move? What's the result I'm going to get? Because I think we can too easily want to do things because they're fun, they're cool, I can see that they can be better, but we forget to go, how is this going to impact my business?
Right.
How is this going to drive the business forward? How is it going to get me out of overwhelm? Or how am I going to get my team to step up, whatever the problem is? And so I think it's a bit of a process of elimination, giving ourselves permission to, and we call it like one big rock, one thing that we're going to focus on and work on and fix and solve properly.
So let me be the devil's advocate here for a second, right? Let me throw this out because I hear stuff like this all the time. I had a call. We were doing an open coaching call this morning, and this type of question comes up. Is I think people have an uncanny ability to convince themselves that every problem they have, if they don't fix, they will die, and that every good idea will move the needle. And again, I only poke because I want to go a little deeper, right? Is I feel like I was just talking to a guy today and he was like, I was thinking about doing membership pricing instead of standard pricing. So can you tell me about membership pricing? I'm like, look, man, what problem are you trying to solve with membership pricing? Because like he's like, well, all my barbers are full and everything's cool, but like I don't know, maybe membership pricing is the model I need to do. And I'm like, okay, stop. Like, why? Why do you need to do that? He's like, it's something I'm not doing, and maybe it's better than what I'm doing. It's that grass is greener scenario, right? So I think the lie is that very often a lot of people think that everything will move the needle and that their salon will die if they don't post on Instagram stories today. So is there any way to refine that, or do you just like make a list and get a dartboard? Like, how do you kind of snap them out of that moment that they think everything is so important?
Yeah. Okay. Agree. First thing is let's fix the stuff that you already are doing before we add anything new. That's the first thing. But I think so. Like,
fix what's actually broken.
Fix what's actually broken and fix what you're actually already doing, because otherwise we're just layering more and more and more on top. right?
Yeah.
And if we've got our foundations broken, how can we build a stable, um, you know, tower with a penthouse on top if the foundations are cracked? So we want to make sure that that is right. And I think the foundations, there's 3 ways to drive a business forward. It's only 3 ways. That's more clients, spending more money, and coming more often. And I think we need to fix those 3 and look at how those are working inside of our business first in terms of driving a business forward, and make sure we've got those simple foundational things in place on repeat, like find the system that works, get it going. And sometimes the foundational stuff in your business is a little bit boring. Once we've fixed it and it's working, we kind of don't need to be, like we get used to having to put sticking plasters on and being rushing, and there's a bit of adrenaline of putting new shiny things in place. And actually, if we set something up for it to truly work and do the job for us, then it's almost a little bit, that's a bit boring now. We go looking for something else. You said it just before.
Yes.
We start looking for things to break.
Right. Yeah. And that's the truth. And that's why, Larissa, I love working with you, because I know there's other people out there, and this I think is very common as a salon owner. They love being behind the chair. They love doing the work. And then they want to own a business, but they don't want to leave behind the chair to become, you've called it the salon, the CEO deal. And like, that's the difference is like, well, look, do you want to be a service provider or do you want to be the business owner? Right? Like there really is a different layer in there that I think that deserves to exist. And I think so many salon owners get caught up behind the chair. And you and I have talked about this before, is that we really believe like, let's be the business owner and step out from behind the chair so that you can actually run a business. I think you and I think we were in the same class, actually. We might've heard about this together. When we were, I don't know if you were in for that, when Mike McCallum says, your job is to create other jobs, right? I don't know if you remember that. Maybe you were there, I can't remember. But anyway, we were in a similar class. And, Mike McCallum said, your job is to create other jobs for other people, not take jobs from other people. And I think when you're behind the chair as a salon owner, that creates kind of its own challenge. And you and I are in agreement is that, look, if you want to work behind the chair, but let's build an actual business out of running your salon. Yeah.
I like to think about it like per hour. We're used to thinking selling an hour at a time. We're used to blocking our appointment book by the hour. So I could spend 1 hour with one client and earn $100. Right? Or I could spend 1 hour with 5 of my team members and teach them how to upgrade, how to rebook, how to do an increased layout, I don't know, whatever, something. Sure. Now I've just spent 1 hour with 5 people teaching them one skill that they can go out and practice that skill, do that skill with their clients 40 hours of the week. So now I've got 40 hours times 5 times 52 weeks of the year, and I think that's where you get exponential growth.
Yeah.
Is it all behind the chair?
Right. It's basically, that's why you go into business as a salon owner, right? Is leverage. If you want to open a salon and work behind the chair, then you might as well rent a suite, or, rent your own little space or operate out of the garage. I was talking to somebody the other day and they, my wife owns a salon. I go, oh, great. Where's her salon at? And he goes, oh, it's our extra house out back. And I was like, well, yes, that's part of it. Your wife cuts hair. And that's fine, but that doesn't mean you own a salon. Like, that's a very different conversation than saying my wife cuts hair out in the shed out back at the house. And I don't mean to belittle it by saying that. I just mean like, it really is like a very different business when you have a team of people and you're growing. And that's where you and I are in the same vein, right? Is help teams of people grow to become more amazing at what they do, to give more, and to be of greater benefit to others. But I love what you said, 5 team members times 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, or your 1 hour spent behind the chair. Love that.
Yeah. Well, we can't employ team members and then basically ignore them for 40 hours of the week. So here I have a job, but I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to spend any time with you. You're on your own. Go and make budget. Go and make your target. And then we go, wonder why she's not performing.
Yeah. So, why is that person not on their own being motivated, creative, and being driven? And they should be self-starters. Why do I have to talk to them for any reason, right?
If they were self-starters, they would have gone and opened their own salon.
Amen. All right. So look, this is a great conversation. If you're getting more help out of this, I like it. You're making quick translations for me. I appreciate it. If you're getting value out of today, do me a favor and say value. When we come back, I want to talk with Larissa a little bit more about some of the differences between North America versus Australia, New Zealand, the big upper or the above us over, whatever we called it earlier. We're going to chat about that all when we come back after this short break.
Hey, HPSA listeners, let me ask you this. Are you tired of not knowing what your hair color is costing you on every appointment and watching it chew up your profit? Well, with Salon Scale, we take the guesswork out for you. Using a mobile app paired with a Bluetooth scale, Salon Scale will tell you exactly what your color is costing you on every bowl mix down to the gram. As you mix, Salon Scale will also digitally store your formulas and track how much product is being used in real time, so you can manage your inventory, cover your expenses, and generate more profit in your salon. Use promo code HPSA10 to get 10% off an annual subscription. Salon Scale, the new standard for mixing color.
Welcome back. I'm chatting with Larissa from the Salon Owner Collective from Australia, New Zealand, and she is a rock star salon owner coach, helping you to get out from behind the chair and run your business, which you might say, Jason, isn't that what you do? Yes, is the answer to that question. But the good news is Larissa and I have known each other for a couple years now. And again, she specializes in working with people in Australia, New Zealand. We specialize in North America. And we've done it. We've talked to people in Australia, New Zealand, and they've been like, hey, there's a couple differences that just don't seem to line up. And so look, while we cross over, I think there's a hell of a lot more to give by helping you get access to more great tools, more great information, and hearing it from somebody else sometimes, maybe with a fancier accent than me. I get it. She sounds cooler. I get it. But sometimes you need to hear it. And even though I joke about a different accent, right? I have an accent to her. She has an accent to me. But the idea is sometimes you need to hear it from somebody else's voice, right? You need to hear it from somebody else and go, I kind of like how you said that because it gave me the exact thing I needed to put it in the right perspective. And I am just a huge fan of making sure that you just get help as a salon owner. You know, you mentioned your mission, Larissa. Our mission is to elevate the way the rest of the world sees the beauty industry, right? And just elevate it, because I think a lot of people don't feel like this is kind of a second-class citizen job, owning a salon. And I love that you're on that same mission in the sense of elevating people to run a legitimate business or be a CEO of a salon company, not just say I own a salon because I happen to own a pair of shears. Yeah.
So true. I love that mission for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that we can be in alignment on some of those things. So talk to me about this. When you said you have these 9 things you take people through, you have 9 areas that you take people through. You get really clear about what's working. You figure out what are the areas that are broken, fix those, and then you get them to focus on one big rock until fixed. And as you said earlier, I just want to recap it. You said you want to ignore everything that the salon won't die or close, and that if you fix it, it will move the needle. Then you mentioned 3 other things that were really important in moving the needle. You said there's 3 areas: more clients, getting more clients, getting more dollar per guest or more money per client, or having them come in and visit you more often, so frequency. And I love this because I'm kind of doing the conversion over to what we would reference versus you would reference, and I love it. We're right on the same page. So talk to me about, once they've kind of gotten that moving, do you just keep tackling the next big rocks, or how do you plan out the future? What kind of process do you take salon owners through so they can get even further in their lifestyle and their career as salon owners?
Yeah, okay. Good question. There's a couple of big key things that we need to focus on, team being one of them, how we pay the team and making sure that our profit margins are right for the team, that they're paid well, that the business is profitable. And I think too many business owners are scared of their business being profitable. But if we're not profitable, we're not future-proofing. If we're not profitable, we can't ensure that we're going to be around tomorrow. So we need to pay our team right. We need to be super profitable. We want to make sure that we've got the right systems and processes in place that run the business, so we're not at the center. Because I think too often as a business owner, where, you know, when the traffic lights break down at the crossing, at the intersection, and like we put on our white gloves and we go, all right, you go here and we'll go here, and where you go, and it makes us feel super important and really like we know what we're doing and everybody needs us. But actually, it's not really sustainable for us to be able to grow when we're so required to be at the center of our business. So we want to remove ourselves out of
Good.
being needed, let go of our ego a little bit, and make sure that the business is a little bit more self-sustaining so we can pick up the next big rock or the next interesting project and make sure that we've got a good flow of clients coming into the business, that the way that we serve the clients are being served consistently, and that the clients are being served in a way that they come to the brand and they don't come to the stylist. I think if
Yes, say that
stylist
again. That was
centric,
the money right there.
yeah. If we are
That
so
was it.
stylist centric, we're at really high risk. As stylists leave, we lose our clients. And so we want to make sure that the clients are coming to the brand, not
Yes.
to the stylist.
Yes, and I want to amen and echo that. Like if I could high five you digitally, bam! I got a digital high five, Larissa, for you. Yeah, I got you. I would just say the same thing: is that so many times, right, Larissa? People just rely so heavily on the stylist to represent the brand, rather than the brand representing the brand, and the stylist to be a representative of the brand. And I love how you said that, right? Is if they're a client, and I would say like a client of the salon, they're a client of the salon, they come to the door, they can have one stylist, they can have a massage therapist, they can have a nail person who's doing stuff for them, an esthetician, and like they work with everybody. But so often, everybody's got strangleholds on their clients. And if their stylist is not there, they would never dream of talking to anybody else. And that's a detriment to your brand. And I think that is the kiss of death for so many salons when they're like, why did that top performer leave and take all of my clients with them? Well, what did you do to invest in that relationship with that stylist? Or sorry, not with the stylist, with the guest? Because if you didn't invest in that relationship and you were expecting just the stylist to do it, well, then that's the problem, right? Is that they just get hung up and they get caught up right there. So I just, like I said, amen and high five across the world. I've heard this stat. I'm curious if you see it to be true where you are. I've seen this stat before when you mentioned profitability. I've seen the stat. 7% of salons make money, 20% break even, and the rest of the salons are paying out of pocket to go to work in their salon. So they either work for free in their salon or they make less than they made as a stylist to be there, the remaining percent. Have you seen that to be true in your opinion, or do you disagree with that statement or that poll?
I am not surprised by those numbers. I would say that probably it's super scary to say that would be true, but I wouldn't argue with it. I think that is absolutely the state of the industry, sadly. And I think, this is what we're here for, Jason, is to help change that, to help shift that. There's that small percentage of people who are making a lot of money, and there's nothing special about those people. I was one of those people. There's nothing special about me. I just did the work.
Well said. I agree with you. And I, not to say there's nothing special about you. I think there's plenty of special things about you and about every one of the people listening. But I would agree. But I would agree is that don't stress yourself out. It's not that they were born differently. It's not that they had another, some other random thing. They might have gotten some help or some support, but they were normal people asking the right questions, looking for help and support, and they moved the needle in the direction of owning a salon. And I just have to say, like, you guys know how to get a hold of us because if you listen to our show, you're around all the time. Check out our Facebook groups and our communities and things like that. But I want to tell you about Larissa's communities because if you can get more information, the better. Larissa, what is your Facebook group? How can people go track you down? Is it Salon Owner Collective as a Facebook group also, or what's the way to get that?
Profitable and Successful Salon Owners. I'll give you the link, but if you search Profitable Salon Owners, you'll find us. Come and join, come hang out.
I love it. Well, that's good. So check out Profitable Salon Owners, which also is very similar to our group. So you'll probably see both of us at the same time. I would encourage you to be at both. And also, do you have a resource you could give so people can kind of check out some of your stuff too, Larissa? Is there any cool tools, or is it in the group?
It is in the group, but it's Master Your Inner Salon CEO. There's a couple of key steps that are going to help you really narrow your focus, get clear on where you need to work on in your business. Nice. So you can really step into that role and move the needle in your business.
Nice. I love it. So if you want that, do me a favor and comment, download. We'll give you the links. You can check out some more of Larissa's stuff. And if you're a salon owner that is in Australia, New Zealand, and you're trying to figure out how to run your business and you want some help, can't recommend Larissa enough. She does some great work down there. And again, I just want to make sure that you guys have got some good support no matter where you are around the globe. And being a friend of Larissa's has certainly been an awesome pleasure of mine. I hope it becomes the pleasure of you as well. Larissa, thanks for being on the show today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk with you soon. Thanks for being on. Appreciate you.
Thanks for hanging out.
Bye for now. Thanks for listening to the Evo Revo podcast. Today's podcast was brought to you by Salon Scale, allowing you to charge by what you know, not by what you feel. Please subscribe, leave us a review, and you can always get more information, including show notes and the video episodes at evorevopodcast.com.